based in India. He used to run EDF Man India before starting on his own. And he's also the strategic advisor to Marek Spectron for the Indian market. And Rahel's going to give us a very detailed look into Indian sugar production, and what is going on. It's always one of the very key swing factors, in the world. So really looking forward to hearing what Rahel has to say, especially to see if we're going to have some exports coming out of India. And then we have Nuran Ezzaldin. She is the founder of Granosaurus, which is a global agri-business provider. Nuran specializes in the grains trade, specifically wheat, with a key focus in Egypt, and she's based in Cairo. So we're looking forward to hearing all about the grains market in Egypt. And then we have Mr. Vipul Bhandari. He's a senior derivatives manager for HedgePoint Global Markets, which is a risk management, market intel business, and it also helps companies with their hedging strategies. He's based in the UAE, but HedgePoint is a US company. So I'm going to start with Claudio to give us a kind of broad, high-level overview on the sugar and ethanol markets and see. So Claudio, give us a view, please. Obviously the key production areas: Brazil, India, Thailand, EU, Mexico, etc. Just give us, here in the audience, a bit of a sense of what's going on in the world of sugar at the moment, please.
Yes, thank you for inviting me here. I'm happy to be also with Rahel and with everybody that we know. And now we are also going to the grain part, which is very important. And by the way, grains are very important for ethanol, especially Europe, United States. You do ethanol from corn, and then sometimes competes with beet and with sugar cane, right? So yes, a broad view. I try to keep it short. Sugar market is a sweet market with sweet people. So and then sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Funds are being attracted by the opportunity to do business. Rather the market is going up or down, it doesn't matter, But I think the sugar market showed to the world that remains a very important market, and a market which is quite technical, talking about London market, which is the white sugar market, and quite open to investors when we talk about the raw sugar market, New York number 11. So now I split the market in two. Why? Because we are at a certain point now in history where these two sugar markets, they don't look alike, right? We have a tremendous surplus on the white sugar market, so London number 5, but ahead of us we have a Q1 in deficit on the raw sugar market. So then how are we going to solve this problem? Because some would say maybe the influential will be the London market, which is a small one, because the demand is not really there, or the money aren't there to buy the product. But then the raw sugar market is far larger than the white sugar market, so then can't be influenced only by a small market, right? We have a lot of speculative positions into the raw sugar market, and then sometimes market could spike to tremendous values and bring London up with it. So saying that, we see kind of a deficit in Q1 in the raw sugar market of about 1 million tons, okay? This means that the Ramadan demand should be there. But if the Ramadan demand doesn't come, or it comes to a lesser extent, then the deficit could be reduced, but we are still in deficit. That's why people are asking me why we are still above 21 cents when China is not buying, Indonesia is not there yet. But why? Because there is this deficit, and then we start to feel deficit because at this moment in time there is a seasonality in the sugar market. Brazil will not produce anymore now, right? So Brazil up until let's say April, when the new crop starts, will do almost nothing. So just few amount of sugar. So that's the problem with it. Even the Ramadan demand is not there, the normal demand on raws is there, so then we are still having to solve this deficit. And how you solve this deficit in the raw market? You need an extra player to come in, okay? Either, let's say, India or Thailand, right? Because Thailand was absent from the world market like since 2, 3, 4 years ago. And now Thailand has this opportunity to double its exports, Q1 exports, when compared to last year, and play a significant role in the market and try to cover for this deficit. Okay, so just roughly about Brazil and all these big players. Brazil had a tremendous crop last year, amazing crop, the biggest crop ever. They didn't manage to do it this year because there was weather,
drought,
fires, and problems. Still, the production is at a good level, okay, compared to what we had, the dryness we had. But now, finally, thank God, rains are coming. So then we can talk about a bigger crop next season. Now, what does it apply to the sugar market? Because everybody said, okay, if Brazil is bullish now, it will be bullish next season too. But these rains, recent rains, are showing us that they can still recover, the cane can still develop now, and then due to a tremendous amount of caña pisada that could be carried, so leftover cane from one season to another, that could be carried into the next season, we could see also a big season next one. But it's all depending on weather and on rains. And just for the audience to know, I mean, some people know, some people don't know, Brazil is the biggest exporter of sugar in the world market, right? So it controls on raw sugar market, I think it's 60% of the market, 50 to 60% depending on the year. So it's a big player. So this was Brazil. Now Thailand will have a better crop. Will Thailand be able to maximize production now in Q4 and bring extra sugar into Q1? It's problematic. We don't know. They managed to export about 1.7 million tons of rose in Q1, statistically looking back. But I didn't see them exporting more than this. This year in Q1, they sent to the world just 800,000 tons of sugar. That's half, okay? So will Thailand really put this sugar in or not? Because if they are not able to bring it in, somebody else has to come.
Absolutely.
India will not come with raw sugar. If it will come with white sugar, right? So then again, it's not solving the problem of the raw sugar now in Q1. What will happen after Q1, we don't really know. It depends on the new crop in Brazil. But okay, we can see pressure on prices post-May. If it's a good crop in Brazil, if everything is there, then this amount of sugar strikes the market. But by that time, the white sugar market will also be another one, because it will be post-Ramadan, post-Eid, post this, new demand will come. So there will be opportunities also. So I think roughly that's wrapping up the...
But I think, Claudio, you've touched on an interesting point there. How do we solve the raw sugar deficit? Well, I think maybe, and we can talk freely about this, and people in the audience will know the same. Demand for white sugar right now is bad, huh?
Yeah.
Just generally. I mean, in a lot of the big destination white sugar markets, the Djiboutis, the Sudans, a lot of the big African markets, demand is a disaster. So I wonder if that slow pull from demand, you've got a very low white premium, the differential between London and New York. Does that maybe postpone some of that raws buying and then help to solve that tightness in Q1?
Some raws can be postponed, but this also will be a political decision. Because a decision coming from Indonesia, the largest raw sugar importer, it's very political. It's not like China. For example, China has two quotas. In quota pays only 15% duty, and out of quota sugar paying 50% duty. So whenever you are prepared to import, you can do it. But Indonesia is not like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need a decision from the government. Now we give import licenses. Everybody was talking about import licenses now pre-Ramadan. So some import licenses to be issued now in Q4, but they didn't come, right? So then Indonesia can delay the import, and then this can solve part of the deficit.
It helps part, exactly.
It's partly, but you need everything, all the stars to be aligned together to solve the deficit, right? So that's why also New York March doesn't really react downwards. Yes, China is not buying at 21 cents. They will probably buy at 17 or 18 cents. Okay, July contract on New York or October contract is still not 17. It's not really 18. So then it's not really the time now to buy. So that's why we remain with this question, and people are afraid to go, and the funds to go short on prompt sugar. So I think that this kind of a bullish situation on prompt will remain up to the expire of March contract.
Okay, very clear. Give us a view, a little bit of, obviously you talked about, about last year we had the biggest crop in Brazilian history. We've had a pretty good crop this year despite the fires and the drought. But give us a view of kind of, this year, and then what do you think for next year? I mean, what are we looking at, from a global perspective?
Well, we're looking to a far more balanced situation next year because from the supply and demand point of view, okay, we don't know what the funds will do, but we know that probably next year will be just a very small surplus, 100K of surplus. For the world market is zero.
Yes.
And when you have this kind of number there, it's a very dangerous number.
Because it's always going to change.
Yeah, and shift up or down massively. So we are still watching the weather. We need to see what the weather does and whatever. Now, another thing that was and could be brought into discussion later on here, the ethanol flooring in Brazil didn't play a role in the past 4 years, nothing. Okay, so 3-4 years of no role played. Where is the ethanol parity? 15 cents about,